I'm Carrie Richardson. I'm the owner of CR2F. I'm a mom here in Durham, North Carolina. These are my kids.
My name is Cleona, and this is my Pixie Palm surprise that my mom let me open yesterday. Her name is Rena.
And who are you?
George.
Yeah. Okay, and we are going to paint robots. All right. I'm going to let George tell about this one, and you tell about this one, and I'll tell about this one. Deal?
Okay.
George, tell about the yellow one.
So the yellow one has these little hammer ears that look like hammers, but they're just a robot.
Right. Tell one more thing.
And also it has rectangle face, and it has stripes on its legs.
Okay, that's enough about it. All right, Cleona,
green.
what do you want to tell about the purple and pink one?
So the purple and pink one has like these clippy.
Here, let's hold it in front of this. So, no. In front of the stand.
Right, clippy hands, and then it has its like, let's say hair
Wires.
Hair wires, and like up, and then here's one of the hearts. There's two other hearts. They're actually half of circles, and then here are her legs, and then my mom will tell about the middle.
And the middle one was really fun to do because I applied a lot of wet on wet color. So I'll tell you more about that as we go. But the first thing I want you to think about, we'll just take a minute. You guys can tell me in a second what you're picking, okay? First, we have to think of some shapes. They can be any shape you want. It is
trapezoid.
It's normal for them to be symmetrical, but you don't have to be. So, kids, what are some shapes you can think of?
Circle, octagon, pentagon.
Okay, let George say one.
Half a circle.
Wait, let George say some. George, what one did you say first last time? It's one of Mommy's favorites.
Triangle and trapezoid.
Triangle and trapezoid. Also a heart or an oval, rectangle. Yeah. Okay, lots of any shape you want. And it doesn't have to be perfect either. Like, if you look, this one is kind of a hexagon, but it's not a perfect hexagon. So think about that, and then think about what colors you would like to paint with, and think about what color you'd like to add to it. Because if you look at mine, this is purple and pink. This is blue and green with a little yellow, like teal and green, turquoise, and then orange and yellow. So that's kind of what you want to do. So, okay, we're going to move on to the painting part. We each have, everybody show your watercolor pencils.
I have this kind of like a neon color.
Oh,
and I have this pink one.
And green is my favorite. And you can choose to use these or not. I did not on my other ones, but I think I will today. And I'm going to get two other colors because I want to do it.
She painted them yesterday.
I did. I'm going to do a couple. You can just do one, but I want to show you different techniques. So I would encourage you to just paint one robot at a time, unless you're feeling frisky. I don't know. And so, yeah, so you can draw them or not. These are watercolor pencils. I like to use them because once you get them wet, you can blend them in, and that's not something that you can do with regular pencil. If you use like your typical pencil, this one says tacos or happiness, that once you paint over it, you can't erase it, and so that's not really what I'm going for. So, okay, think of your shape. I liked starting with the heads before, but again, a lot of this is real fluid. And so I am going to do one in the middle that's a rectangle. I'm going to draw my robots a little differently this time. And I've decided that I like that they had painted whole heads, but I might leave some white on some of mine as well. So like this one, I'm going to leave a little box, and I'm going to leave that white in there. And the details I added to that with some of my twin tone markers. So I left space between. You also don't have to do that. If you look at this one, I did the neck of this yellow one with paint, but the other ones I drew in, right? So, ooh, George, you are going to town there, buddy. You're going to finish before all of us. Okay, so I'm going to draw this guy like this, and I'm going to make him a couple of pieces. So I'm going to connect him together, and then he's going to It's another, there we go. And then this one, I didn't think about a heart. I put heart on the robot, but I hadn't thought about making one that was a heart. So I'm gonna do that. And you know, this part, like I said, you can freehand it. George is freehanding it over here. We might have to get you a second piece of paper, buddy, so that you can keep coming along with us. But, hold on, sorry, I'm talking and drawing at the same time.
It's hard to do that.
Sometimes, true story. And you know, so this one, I'm gonna leave the eyes as white spots. And then I'm gonna do a pink one over here. And I think
I'm doing a heart robot, like its full body is actually a heart with a bunch of hearts in it, and this is how I started off. And now I'm gonna move on to my paints.
yeah, okay. And I want this one to have.
I'm gonna use my big brush first. You should actually use it first, and then you should, if you have a medium brush, you use that second. And if you have a little one, use that third to like cover in all the little details you want.
She's seen me paint before. You might notice, George, I think you need a little more water on yours, okay? Something else I want to show you. Oh wait, can you guys show? We're gonna show it over my painting here. Show your cakes here. So these are the classic palette and tropical palette from, can you pull yours over, from Prima Watercolors, and this is Jane Davenport Bright. I took some water on my brush and I just dripped it onto the, well, that didn't work very well. I just dripped it on to get them all wet. Some people, I did it to theirs. Some people use a spray to do it, like a spray bottle mister with water. Okay, you can set them down now. And the most important thing, George, you need more water on your brush. See how, yeah, that's getting better. But so with watercolor, you want to make sure that your brush is plenty wet. You want to have access to your paper towel, which is how you're going to dab off your paint. You should have something that you can mix on so that you're not cross-contaminating colors. And yeah, and so I'm going to start with this one in the middle, and I am going to make it blue and I think purple. So I'm hoping that you can see. Yeah. I move my brush around in the water, and now I'm gonna, so I have too much because it's dripping, and so you can either dab it on your paper towel, or another way is to tap it on the edge of your water. But now I'm gonna carefully go around the edges that I outlined there.
Mine's gonna have like different colors. Whereas like the hearts are gonna be different colors. My shoes will be different colors.
Yeah, and I'll be adding in shoes too.
Well, mine will actually have like, it'll have a bunch of hearts. Like,
Oh, well,
it's,
okay.
It's
Well, George, maybe you should make a second one, and can you paint in those hearts? Because what I want to show them something cool, okay? So if you'll look, you guys watch for a minute actually. And be careful, George, because you've got paint on your arm and it's getting on your paper. Okay, so I am painting the edges of this and spreading the water around for this little guy. And
you're so cool, Mom.
Thank you. And then after I color...
No, but I can't draw a dark blue robot and draw a pink robot on the same pad of paper.
Well, and just, why don't you go get yourself some paper?
You know that the paper's in there. I can go get it.
Yeah, you want to go get a piece of paper, and I'll explain this part. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make sure that there's, my purple paint is plenty wet, and then I'm going to dab off my brush, and then I'm going to add some of the little teal color to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure there's plenty of water on my brush, and this, well actually, so I'm going to wait and get this to be just a little bit more dry. I'm also going to do the same thing up here. So I'm going to paint my robot.
Here's the Georgie.
Oh, Cleona, don't walk in front of the screen. Okay.
Here's the piece of paper.
Remember, walk around, okay? George, just set it down.
This?
Yep.
Where?
And I'm gonna let you do that one right where you are. Just make sure not to get tons of water everywhere. But good news is it'll clean up, okay? We'll just have to be sure to do it as soon as we're done with our video. Okay, so there we go. The cool thing that I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take some of my purple paint and I'm just, so this is wet. The paint on here is still wet and I'm just gonna dab it on.
This is gonna look cray-cray.
Yeah, but it's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be like fun but crazy.
So this is called wet on wet. And this is one of my favorite parts about watercolor is because you're kind of just letting watercolor do its thing. I'm also adding just some water, right? Tapping my brush on the edge and then just adding water to it. But this is some of my favorite part. Sometimes they form things that are called blooms where everything kind of spreads out. And then, yeah, so it gives it the cool textured appearance that you saw on my other ones. I'm also gonna add some teal to it, and it doesn't always spread like you want it to. Sometimes when that happens, it means that my paint was too dry. There are a couple of ways to fix this. One of them is to just drop water on it because it will still spread for you. Another one is just to kind of leave it and see what it is.
Mom, this one's for you.
Thanks, buddy. Oh, I like how that fades. Can you hold it up for the camera so everybody can see how the color changed on there? That's slick. You're gonna get to see both kids drawing or paintings at the end. So I just like to see how it changes. So, okay, so George, can you do more? Can you do more like that on here? Maybe do a rainbow?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so now I've done one. If I had been smart, I'm right-handed, so I might have started on the far left and moved over, but I'm gonna paint this right one first and then hope that I can make it work.
Red.
Orange. Okay, so now, and we might speed this part up, so, here is, all right,
What comes after orange?
yellow. All right, you guys wanna, let's.
I don't have any of that.
Okay, wait, stop. Really important thing between, when you're using cakes. You wanna make sure to wipe off your brush and rinse it off in your water and make sure that it doesn't transfer color to whatever you're working on. And sometimes you'll notice that we have lots of waters around here. I like to have pretty clean water. Some people say you should keep it as clean as, hey buddy, hold on just a second, as clean as you would want a fish tank. I don't know if I quite agree with that, but I do try and keep it pretty clean because my water, so it's pretty clear. Sometimes I also have like a dirty one and a clean one, so I'll clean my brush in here. One of the good ways to clean it is actually to make sure that the bristles, like if this were the bottom, that you press them down and they bend. And you just want to be careful with your watercolor brush, but they're pretty flexible, so a little bit of pressure isn't going to hurt it. All right, so is your brush cleaned off? George is using a tiny brush, which is fun for details, but not so much for filling in. Please be gentle. I would use a different brush, buddy. I think you will be happier with what comes out. Okay, so now.
If he wants it, just let him be and let him do what he wants.
Well, you have a point. I should get to experiment. So thanks for reminding me. Ooh, I like yours, Cleona. I can use a little more water. I think you will be happier with that too. All right, and you'll see, so these watercolors I'm using, I've had for a year and a half, maybe longer, and no, something like that. Anyway, hold on just a second. And so I'm not doing a great job. I should probably be pulling them out of the cake and wetting it over here, but I was trying to do it quickly. And also, so I'm using a size 6 watercolor brush because I am comfortable painting with that. There's not really a right or wrong answer. I'd tell you that like your fine liner brush is probably not quite the right choice right now for filling in larger areas. And I find that even what a size 6 brush is can vary quite a lot. Okay, so now that I've got this one done, so whenever I go outside the lines, sometimes I just make the line bigger. It just kind of depends. It's easiest to do this when it's still wet, otherwise you will have a hard line. But that'd be okay too, because these are just for fun. Okay.
Even if they might be hard, it's for fun. Just have fun with it.
That's right.
It's fine. However it looks, as long as you like it it's fine.
I am loving this attitude.
No one needs to think, oh, it's bad. As long as you think it's good, it's good.
That's right. I feel like I have succeeded as a parent right now. Okay, so I'm adding some yellow. Ooh, keep going, George. Can you add more? This is really cool. So, you know, your robots, part of the reason I wanted my kids to paint this one, and they won't get to paint all of the tutorials with me, but, I mean, they will eventually, but I might not have them in the video. But part of the reason is I wanted you to see that this can turn out a lot of different ways and still be really fun. Okay, so I'm still using this teal on this one too, but I'm kind of loving how this head over here is turning out.
Mom, do you like mine?
Yeah, hold on just a second. Ooh, yeah, I think you will like it if you use a little bit more water. Part of the fun for me is really this cool blending that happens, and sometimes I do little tiny dots. And if you ever have, so like you can see some water pooling in the corner of mine. This is part of why I use boards, because try as I may, I feel like I always get too much liquid. Is you can take a tiny piece of paper towel, tear it off, and just very gently absorb some of the water, and so it'll take off some of the pigment too. But what I like about doing that is it still maintains the cool colors that I put down. It might change the blending a little bit, but your piece will also dry faster this way. And if you have too much water, it will run over. It also can cause your paper to buckle a little, but that is totally fixable. So if that happens, do not panic. Actually, that should probably be, I mean, that should already be our mantra right now with this virus thing happening, but it's also something to think about now is like, it's okay. Everything is fixable. And worst case scenario, do you know what you mean? Ooh, cool. Set that down, would you? Another piece of paper. That's it. Okay. Hey, George, would you sit with me for the rest of this? Maybe you can.
I need more paper.
Okay, go get more paper.
I can get it. Well, plan, at least show me where it is.
That's a great idea. That way George will know. Okay, sorry. We're keeping it real here. This is how it looks. And I'm going to paint one more. And, you know, I like these hearts. They're fun. And so I'm going to put a heart right here. Actually, I was looking at my other painting for reference. Actually, I'm going to change that, and I'm going to put an oval in the middle of it. And I think I would have been happier with this shape if I had planned ahead, but I didn't. So I'm winging it. All right, so let me finish pulling this guy in. It kind of looks like a belly button. Do you guys think this looks like a robot belly button?
Yes, keep it there.
You like it? Okay.
Robot belly button.
Robot belly button. I feel like that should be a song. Okay. Okay, and then
It should be a song.
this one I'm going to show you something else. So instead of, I was initially going to leave that middle part white, but I'm not. And something else about watercolor, although you sometimes use white paint, you normally don't. That's normally not how you have a white area. You normally either do that by not painting that spot or by putting white marker on top. So this one I wanted to do with some orange in it. Make sure my brush is
I'm trying to
clean.
make mine look really silly.
I like it. Silly is so fun. So I'm gonna let this one sit for a minute right here. That triangle, so it'll do. I'm gonna see if it'll blend for me, and it might not, and that's okay. Okay. So I'm adding this. Sometimes too, it can be fun to just add some clean water, right? So my brush is wet but not too wet, so I'm dabbing it down. It had a little bit of orange left on it, so oh, be careful, George. Hey, oh, you're gonna draw this one. All right. And then sometimes too, adding 3 colors is always fun too, so I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna add some of the pink back in. So I'm gonna get some more concentrated, like the color is gonna be stronger when it comes straight from the cake. And I'm gonna add some of the pink in. I'm gonna maybe I'll wait a second because it's still really wet.
You guys, I know something about brushes. So when you need to let them dry, you actually take your paper towel, then you get it, and then you close the paper towel on the wet spot, and then you leave it to dry for at least at least a minute.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I wanted to do here, and I'm playing right now. I don't actually know how this will turn out, but that's mostly dry. And now I took some orange. I made sure.
Robot belly button. Pink one.
I love it.
It's like a robot belly button.
All right, Cleona, you are silly. And I'm just painting alongside it to see if I can get a little bit of overlap and a little bit of bleed. That's what it's called when one color runs into the other. It can be a bleed, it can be a blend, it can be a bloom. Apparently lots of things with B's and L's.
I was about to ask you about that, Mom.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What else do you want to know about it? Pardon
how
my
do you
messaging.
get it to blend so well? I've seen more of yours blend, like the one you made for me, and also like the elephant one. It kind of looked kind of blendy.
That's right.
Which we'll have a video on that.
Yeah, we're going to do an elephant tutorial too.
Yep. And today, maybe today,
I'll be right back.
we might be also doing, we're going to do a rocket ship, and then we're going to do the elephant.
And we're taking ideas and suggestions, so if you have one, let us know.
Just subscribe and tell us. We'll look at it. I watch my mom's painting a lot. My mom did YouTube, and now I can stuff.
Yeah, well, they're going to see this on YouTube, honey. Oh, put too much on this. Okay.
Just don't paint.
I won't. Don't worry.
Because
all right.
It's not.
So we are almost done with the first part of the video, and then I'm going to let this dry. And then I'm going to add some, I'm going to add some details to it.
Also, we can paint flowers.
Yeah, okay, George, move that away, please. George, now. Remember? You said, buddy, you said that you would be a helper. I liked how that one robot before had legs, and but I think I'm going to do it on this one. So this one, she's going to have boots.
Mom, can I get a little bit bigger brush for the, round around it? Thanks.
Okay.
I'm not going to get in front of the camera because that would be...
Yep.
I got my big brush. It is a 12 artist brush.
So,
Yep.
Okay. So when you're done with this, that's when you would fill in... you want to let it dry all the way. That'd be a good opportunity to go get a snack or help your parents put away some laundry.
Or whatever you need to do if you're hungry, thirsty. You could pause the video and then you could try and you could do it. If you need to buy, if you haven't seen our my mom's video on what you should use, go get it. What is it called again, Mom?
So CR2F.com. I have all sorts of suggestions. I'm gonna do these as triangles too.
If you want to subscribe, we'll read them. We'll read them because we want to know what you think and also give us a thumbs up.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah, but there is a tutorial about what kind of supply options, but really anything will do. And the most important thing is that you use watercolor paper, not anything else, definitely watercolor. So something I'm going to do here is I want you to watch this one. As I add it, it's going to go up here, and I thought that was really fun. And then I'm going to...
We love fun. We have a food truck back there we built.
We do. It's a tent.
Yep, it's basically a tent. I made a tent. George made a tent. And we made a bunch of cool stuff.
A real tent, not a food truck, a real tent.
Yeah, we also have a food truck back there in our TV room. We have,
okay.
And we're in our dining room, so we're being careful not to touch the Chinese.
That's right, not the China. Okay, last thing I'm going to do, and I had fun doing on the other one, is I'm going to add hands for them. So they have feet, and I'm going to connect the hands to the bodies with my markers.
Can I get another piece of paper?
Sure.
Yeah.
So this one is going to have triangles. And you can either choose to make them match what they have, or they could contrast, or you could choose one of the colors that you dropped in. And I am going to be careful. Remember, rinse your brush between.
This one's going to be a little quick.
Okay.
But...
Well, and we're not going to do too much more of this, and we might have to just show them our finished robots at the end, okay? Okay, so I'm going to connect those hands whenever whenever this is all dry.
I'm doing
I am going to give this one some little half hexagon hands.
Basically, my next robot is going to like kind of like a human, but not too much.
And then this one had these pinky orange feet. I'm going to see if I can get that color to happen again. And I am going to give it little dots to get to the arms. Like I'll connect them, but I'm going to, there we go. And it's waving, I've decided, just now, I decided that. And so, there we go.
Great, Mom.
Oh, thanks, honey.
She's really good. She's actually an artist. If you go and see some stuff, she makes prints. I sometimes help her with it.
That's true.
She also lets me draw stuff on her tablet that she prints out.
Yep. That's pretty fun getting to do that with her. All right. So there are my robots. I'll check back in once they're dry, and I'll show you how I chose to add the elements to the rest of it, but there's not really a right or wrong way. So, all right, let's wave bye, you all. Nope. Hey, say bye.
Bye.
Thank you. I'll be back with a few more things later, but all right. All right, hey everybody, we're back. This is the one that you guys saw before. I want to show you the ones that the kids made. George, will you tell about yours?
This one is just a ruined one.
I love it.
So this one is just a circle, straight, face, circle, straight, circle, straight, circle, straight. And this one is just a square, straight,
It's a little triangle, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the way it fades down, and I think this part at the end kind of looks like a jellyfish with all the little...
And the stripes, 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 stripes.
Okay.
Circle, 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 straight.
Yeah, and then tell them about this one.
Circle, straight.
Well,
circle,
you said it was
straight.
your rainbow sparkle.
So,
Rainbow, sparkle, rainbow?
no, it's circle, straight, circle, rectangle.
Okay, we're going to say about this one.
This is a mom and dad a girl and a boy having a dance-off. There's a robot girl, aka me as a robot. And then I have some blend here, and I really like this part. I like how I have this swift, there's blend there and there. It's unusual for that to have a blend, and I thought if I did some dots, that one kind of looked like a diamond. That's why I circled it. And then it's like person versus person.
I love it, and I love this unusual color combo.
Yep,
Okay, here you go. Have a seat, please, all the way. Okay, now will you sit down again? Don't use llama corn, and just use your finger to show. Just show.
So this is my kitty corn. Here, this is my kitty heart. This is the blush. She's like blushing because she's on her first day. And then here is her neck. Then I love the blend I got with purple and this pink. It's kind of bold right here and here. Nothing right here is bold. We still have the tape on it. And then, look, Mick.
Yep. All right, here you go. Hey, will you see? I'm going to tell them about this one.
Okay,
I know you want to. Go get George, okay? Because I think he wanted to tell about one too. So I'll start with the blue one because that's where I started before. You can see that some of these have little bits, little grainy bits. That's from where I maybe didn't mix the pigment as well. But I kind of like how it turned out. So, you know, happy accident. This is the green one. You can see how you can barely even notice the yellow. It was more prominent when I when I applied it, but I knew it was going to do that, and I liked it. And then, Cleona, did you want to tell about this one over here?
Yes.
So I'm going to start. This is the one that, you know, I just played with the way that it was going to blend.
Here's the belly button, belly button.
Okay. And then I like how this blended together here and adding all the details. And so the next thing that I'm going to do, and I'm not sure if my kids are coming back to be a part of it or not. We're going to find out together. Is I'm going to use my twin tones. I like them because they have a thick side and a thin side, and I think that the colors are really vibrant. And so I want to do it with some colors that are going to provide a little contrast, because see, I didn't quite get my watercolor pencil there. So I'm going to start by outlining this piece. You can do whatever you want. Again, this is all about shapes. And if you didn't buy markers or don't have any, you can always use paint just with a thin brush, or even whatever brush you have, just a little tip of it. Cleona, what do you think? Does this one need a smile?
Yes, can I help do the smile?
I'm going to do it, but I'm going to have you pick your colors for yours, okay?
Okay, I want mine to be kind of like...
Well, how about you come around and grab them?
Okay.
Okay, and so I'm gonna make a neck for it, right? And I like how this one's real boxy. So I'm gonna do some little diamond shapes. I'm gonna try and keep it. In my opinion, you either want to stick with it being very straight lines or curved lines. I mean, you can mix them, but for consistency. So I'm gonna say that this one's arms start down here. You can pick wherever you want, although see how here the arms start at the same height-ish. That's something that I think is, again, important because we're trying to like sort of make them look like people. So I'm gonna have it start at the top edge here, and I'm just gonna keep this zigzag thing that I've got going. I'm gonna do it like this and then turn it into the X's because I think that it's going to be easier that way.
It looks really cool, Mom.
Thank you. Okay, so the diamonds, right?
Want to see all the colors I got?
Yes. You want to just set them right here and tell them why you picked them?
So I picked these two. They're close together, but they're not the same. I thought that they would be cool, and I got this pink, which I thought would be good. I got these purple and green because I used them on a different one. So I'm actually switching them up. On my kitty one, no, I'm using the green and I'm...
Can you lower it, Cleona, so they can see?
The green and purple on this one. Because, you know, this one's actually blue and pink. This is another pink I chose. So, and then the blue and pinks will go on this one, the girl and boy.
All right.
So, yeah, that's why I picked all of them.
So I decided that it would look fun if the legs were kind of like springs. And so...
Kind of like the springy thingy.
Uh-huh. So, and I'm gonna make them thicker because I feel like since the size of them, the thickness of them was the same as the arms, but I wanted to not make them the diamonds. So yeah, so I'm gonna do this. George, do you wanna pick some colors and add to yours, or are you good? Or do you wanna sit quietly and listen? I guess that means add. Remember to be gentle with these, okay?
He wants to add.
All right, Cleona, let's keep the soundtrack a little quieter. Okay, and I want this one to have antennae, so I'm gonna just add some here, right? And
like a robot.
It is. Remember, be gentle. The other side is thicker.
Mine's like a robot ballerina princess.
Cool. Hey, can I borrow one of your greens, please?
Okay.
I'm gonna borrow this one.
Okay.
Okay.
But
So,
give it back.
oh, totally. So for the heart one, and I prefer the thicker side of these, but sometimes the other is nice. So for the heart one, I'm gonna give it eyelashes, right? And I'm gonna give it a little tiny happy mouth, right? And let's see. So I think this one would look good with circles. And okay, So, sorry, we had a little interruption there. Okay, so I did the neck, and now I'm going to do the arms. And actually, I want, what do you think, Cleota? Should I have like windy arms? What kind of arms do you think I should have? Or very straight with a bend arms?
Like.
Should I have wiggly arms or?
How about you do those arms with dots inside? I think that would look cute.
On her? What if I did dots with lines inside?
Or you did hearts with dots.
Oh, she should have heart elbows. That's what it is.
Elbows.
So she has little heart elbows. And I'm just gonna do simple because I think that you need to combine simple and more involved. Now, the problem here is I didn't really think about where they would go, and that's okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it to where it's behind this, and I'm gonna connect it because they're gonna link arms, which is cute. And so I'm gonna, I made a mistake there. That was not where I initially intended to put that line, but I fixed it because I added 2 lines, right? And I put it over here. Okay, so hearts for knees. And then again, I'm gonna put them in. And since I did the little zigzaggy thing there, or not zigzag, triangle thing, I'm gonna do it here too. So there she goes. Hearts, knees. All right, shh, George. George, please be quiet. Hearts for knees. Okay. Okay.
I want it to be this kind of green.
Okay, so I think George wants to use this one. Okay. All right. Sorry, we're going to have interruptions sometimes. So I'm going to give this one little yellow joints.
Hey, Mom. So you guys, I'm moving on to my next one.
Cleona,
My next paint robot.
yeah, at the end, we'll show yours. And I want to lightly outline this part here. I'm not trying to create like solid yellow circles exactly, but I just thought it would look cool.
It does. It looks
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
I really want it.
I liked the wiry hair that I put on the other one, but I think that I might not put, I don't know, does this one need like antennae? Yeah, it needs antennae. That's what it needs.
Okay, but make it cute antennae. Ooh, cute.
Thank
Can I
you.
make with the top one a little tiny heart?
Oh, little hearts here instead. Yeah, so I'll have to move my paper so that I can get the angle right.
You probably can't see it because it is in yellow.
Yeah, yellow can be tricky, but it's such a fun color. Okay. Okay.
There's a heart. There's a heart. That's an antenna.
And I also, looking at this one, I've decided that I want to add a few more details. Sometimes it can be fun to draw on top of the design just for fun. So that's what I'm doing. And I think that sometimes it can make it look more robot-y. I don't know. Is that a word? And then, okay, this one. And so this one, that was where I was initially maybe going to leave it on the inside. And so what I think I'm going to do actually on this one is reinforce this triangle thing that I've got going on. And I'm going to leave spots for the eyes, right? And so it kind of looks like a little bit of a bird to me now, but that's okay.
My robot's plugged in.
Oh, awesome. It's charging. And so it's going to have a little triangle-y mouth too. I'm going to just simply connect the pieces here.
So this is my connect.
Oh, hold on, Cleona.
I'll show you it in a little while. It's really funny and cool.
Yeah,
It's even
we'll show it in just a minute.
Yep, it has stripes, just like it has this stuff just to make sure it doesn't get too much when it goes through. It gives a little bit of power to whatever it's charging on. So I'm trying to make it not do too much because when I found out, pretend I was a scientist and then I made this robot. it was messed up because it blew up when I was charging it. Then I was like, oh, I'll add just a lot of wires to like put a little energy in and doing, because that helps the robot. It gives away extra fuel, which it needs to do.
I love
for
it.
To work.
Okay, so
And
Cleona, how about, I'm gonna get one other thing. Can you tell about your drawing? Hey George, I'm gonna scoot by you.
So mine I'm still working on, but it'll have some dots and it'll look really cool. I promise you. It'll look cool to me, maybe not to you. If you just like different ones, like my mom. Hers looked really cool. It's a girl, and here's a girl. I think that one's probably a boy.
And then I have decided
That they love, all three of them love each other.
they're friends.
The boy is that one. This girl.
They're good
loves that
friends,
one.
I bet.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're good
can I
friends,
tell
but
about
these
the
men
rest of
are
this,
boyfriends.
please?
Carrie Richardson.
Thank you. And so I didn't like how you couldn't really see the eye, so I have some gouache, which is like opaque watercolor. All right, George, you're gonna have to tell me in a minute because I'm telling people about my art. So, okay, so here it is. I added some gouache on top so that you could see the eyes a little better. And it's kind of like a mix between watercolor and acrylic is how I feel it ends up working. Cleona, could you show us yours?
Yes, here is mine. It's my kitty corn one here. I mean my kitty heart one. Anyway, here are the stuff that connects.
I like it. And then can you show us your other one?
This is the dance off. He has a beard. There's me, and then
Look at that. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's like a, oh, and I like that you put a little, made her have lips.
And then there's a tag
Yeah.
that's like, I have flowers, pom, 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 pom. I have a dress that's like that. I even added some stuff there, and it looks really cool, right? Thank you.
Okay, leave it there. Next, I want to show you George's. So we ended up deciding that this one, we still really like how it turned out. We might play more with putting faces on in gouache, but I like this one. And so what we're actually going to do is we're going to cut it out and laminate it and turn it into a bookmark. I'm pretty excited about that. And George redid his, or did a new one. He drew it, and look how happy they all look. Oh, that one has, is that a tail?
No, it's a cord.
It's a cord, has to be charged. Awesome. So yeah, so this is how they all ended up. All right. So yeah, this is my end result on our robots. So thank you for watching along. All right, bye.
Bye.